Light a fire in the soul. What does this topic do for us? We're going to start talking about the nature of how we arrive at soul and how do we figure out what the difference is between doing what I do, which is tapping into the nature of who I am, and other souls from that level of understanding. It can be a passion, it can be a project-oriented vision. You see, this is a nature. So many people feel like they have processes or projects that are on the line. I need to do X, Y, or Z in order to hit my zenith moment. This is where Brenda is. She's of the high. She knows she's tapped into the nature of not only who she is on this level, bringing forth the wisdom for us, but for those on the screen. You see, that's where I tap into the nature of the beauty of who we are. It's a passion for many to help others when they can bring through those words of wisdom that align them with who they are in their hearts. It's a heart level love that comes through for Brenda most often. It's not just of the mind. She's embodied, and she has been for a while. And that means that many will say, that's not my cup of tea. It's not a process that most want to go through for the most part because it takes a lot of time and discovery of who you are from various levels of love. There's a difference between I'm here to embody my own wisdom and get my own views for myself. It's another thing altogether to start imbibing upon the vision of I am receiving wisdom for others. We are co-creating. And that's the beauty of what this is. So when I say I can bring through your soul, it's from a place of love, not of adoration always. Okay, these are those ideas that people have about what it's like to hit different frequency bands or vibrations. I miss who I am as a soul is where some people are. I know people who've hit those zenith moments of guidance only to withdraw or redraw their own maps to what it's like to do that work. We're on the stroke of genius now. This is where most are. We're doing our own guidance for the most part always. We're planting those seeds. Everyone knows that. But when you understand the nature of so many who are still out of touch or out of alignment. Let's put it in a more constructive vision of I'm out of alignment with the beauty of who I am in my mind. But my heart knows different. And we're going to talk about that because it's a very wise thing that Brenda does. She says, when I read or see articles on the screen or whatnot, I have reactions often that might not be the most pleasant for the other soul that I'm working with, correct? I have my own soul that discusses the issues that I have with me before those seeds of hatred or whatnot get planted. My hatred is usually disappointment or of anger, correct? Anger is there for some of my closest soul visions. I do have anger, but I know how to it's like utilize it. Okay? I'm not angry at this world. I'm angry that we're not making as much progress as what I was hoping. Right? Isn't that where we all align? We want some kind of vision of progress. I'm of love of it. I want to see the progress sooner rather than later. That's where a lot of us are, but we have to keep planting those seeds of, oh, I know where I'm going. You see, Brenda knows how to bring forth the future into the vision of here. And she also knows how to bring forth the past from a place of Thomas Edison or Jefferson or whatnot that are saying these are those souls that she aligns with most often, those higher visions of what we were here on this plane who are being demeaned in many ways. And they say we are where we are for a reason. It's not about learning who we are it's like as a personal note, right? I'm putting forth wisdom, but I'm also here to enlighten you guys to the nature of what it's like to do this work from a place of discovery of who we are, I tend to go to those unknown realms that can be scary for some. Okay, that's why I put my toe in the water. We dip our toes in the water, but when you're in the vision of my soul loves me for who I am, it's the highest vision of who I feel like I am. I can get higher levels of wisdom based on what I create with or what I am adoring in my own life. My own children, for instance, have their own souls on the line, often lifting me up, saying, "Mom, I love you. It's all okay." When there's something in my mind that's a little disturbing, I might put forth that vision of I'm worried about X, Y, or Z, but I get to hear the future vision of my children coming back to me in the form of loving words of wisdom from who they are. Now, it's not to categorically deny that there's only one path. We know that vision is not obsolete. But it's very much in tune with the idea of I've raised myself past the idea of idolization of any one path, but I can see the discovery of the best path for myself and my children often. That's who I am. And that's where my soul goes, knowing that's what I plant the seeds for when I can. Sometimes I'm very much in the mindset of subconscious value systems that are still there. But in my heart, I know when I land in front of a person on the screen or in person, I am of respect and dignity always. I will never degrade your soul in front of you. Okay, that's my thing. I am not here to tell you that I align with every soul that I've ever brought through. Okay, Timothy McVeigh being one of them. Okay, Hitler being another one. That soul's been, it's like disenchanted already. Many people are going to say, oh, I don't even know who that is. It's about that idea of our souls creating from various levels of love. Others will say light and love, and we're going to talk about what that means. If you vibrate in the nature of wisdom, you can get it from various levels of understanding. Do we want to understand more about Edison and his vision of I was a property owner as well? You see, this is one of those areas that Brenda is discovering, which is the nature of the systems in which we operate in. But her primary goal is to help all of us reach our own zenith moments if we feel like we haven't tapped into the nature of that spark or that genius. How do we discover more of who we are? We're going through turmoil is where a lot of people are going. And so what we can do is we can say there's a genius within that vision of it. It allows us to see where we can align our hearts or we can go with our minds. I love who I am. That's where some people go. I love causing turmoil. Others are vibrating in it when they reach that moment and they say, it actually feels kind of good to do that work, to get here to cause the problems that need to be solved. In order for us to lift ourselves up past the idea of what it is to create it's like a problem in this world, right? When she taps into the nature of universal wisdom, it is her soul bringing her forth into that vision of what that is. He was guiding her as a soul to the nature of future development of souls who are creating potential issues for us to look at and to unwind, right? No, often they are just declarations of what is already planted and is being grown. This is that idea people are asking, where do we plant our seeds? I love to discover more about other people's souls. I raise myself up before I come on the screen most often, right? I'm usually in havoc mode. Trust me when I tell you that, right? I can be worried about what lighting is going on or the vision of is my microphone working right? But because of the nature of who I am and because I've embodied the vision of who I am as a guide as well, I know how to tap in and trust that your souls are already on a better path. You see, when you come to that vision of I'm aligning with Brenda's soul, which has the vision of many paths are available to me, it's not a static vision. So while my life might be more planned out and destined in various directions, others are very much about just letting things happen. And that's where Brenda goes. She's like, I'm just going to let things happen for a while. And then when I tap in, I will hear those visions of love with my soul that lets me know where I'm at and why. Now, when I create with another soul, as I am with each of you, your souls are on the line, by the way, always. You always are tapping into the nature of who you are from higher fields of understanding and love. They're vibrational frequencies that you all have access to, whether or not you know it or not. It doesn't matter what part of the country or what part of the globe you are a part of. You always have universal wisdom at your access. That's where Brenda is. It's part of who we are. We just don't necessarily know it. And this is the nature of that global vision that we collectively identify with, right? It's usually universal, which has a more kind of galactic vision behind it. But it depends on where you really want to place your focus. And Brenda's more about, I want to highlight the career focus for myself and others who are starting to feel a little bit more worried about the nature of where AI is. It's a growth field for many. Others are disarming themselves in the moment, saying, oh my gosh, she's going to go off on that tangent of love. Do you know what it's like to hear words of love sent to you every day, and then have someone else come in and say, it's not as loving as what I wanted it to be? When you are in the vision of my soul aligns me with the best of the best, it's of who they were in their moments, right? Others are looking for those higher levels. And when you think about what that means, from that vision of we are all loving and caring and guiding each other to paths of glory, that's another vision. Those are those souls that are aiming for the after effect of soul, often. I want the beauty of who I am here. That's where Brenda goes, oh, I get to have it handed to me left and right. Sometimes it doesn't feel so pleasant when I put myself in the vision of creating with those who are creating havoc and loving them for it. Can you imagine? Right? Nothing is destructive as Timothy McVeigh. It's not about that. That was a surprise visit for Brenda. She doesn't choose who comes through. It's more about the vision of whose victim mindsets are on the line and wanting to be stroked. Okay? We stroke her soul is what happens. Her heart gets heated up when she's in the vision, I'm of love of all. My heart beats for another. Okay, that's where many souls are as well. So that passion, right, that people are wanting to feel for life, for soul. Soul vision is beautiful. Many are undermining it, thinking it's just about who we are here and that there aren't other levels of exploration that we can do with that vision. But man, the life we live, it can be fascinating. It can be a discovery process. It's our genius that we're searching for. It's the discovery of who we are from various realms of love or understanding. It doesn't all have to be of love, but it really is in the majority of the people's minds. And in most realms, there's always a love vibration available to everybody, whether or not they want to believe that or not. There are very many people who are like, I'm either here or on one other level. You would be surprised how many levels of love there are for all of us, depending on who we're creating with. So think about the nature of, who am I creating with that brings me passion, glory, discovery, wisdom? If that's you, bring it out for all of us to see, right? This is the nature. Many are saying, I want to see the passion in the world. I want to see the vision of where passion is. And yet what we're actually saying is we want the passion of love. not the passion of destruction, right? But how many of us really do enjoy some of those visions of destroying another's vision? You see, Brenda hears about, the destruction of the vision that she sometimes gets. Sometimes there are people who will say, I'm going to destroy your vision because it's not in alignment with what I already know about who I am or who I am to be. And that is your vision of trying to create havoc where there's none needed. You see, all of our visions are creating from places of love, whether or not we want to acknowledge it as that or not. It's of the mind, but that's a loving vision for us all. Okay, at some point the mind does dissipate in its importance when you go to the vision of I've embodied my own soul's wisdom. You feel it as a whole soul vision. You are walking in step with your soul. You don't caretake the vision of another as superior to your own when you do that vision. That's why a lot of people are fighting that vibration so hard in this country, right? It's on the planet. This idea of superiority based on various traits or characteristics. It's not needed. We're all there creating together. Some of us do want to rise above others in order to show them what? The light, the dark, the energy vibration that we vibrate in. That's all it is. It's not about saying it's good or bad, right? Darkness is subjective. It has wisdom within it. When someone says the dark to Brenda, she says, based on whose idea of what frequency? It's going to feel good to somebody and it's going to lift them up. Others are going to feel horrible in it and it will take them down. There are universal principles at play, by the way, that I know how to handle. Someone's talking about their universal wisdom and what they want to know about it. It's about the frequency band that she vibrates in, often with her children. I'm of love of them always. I like who I am enough to say that I don't always get along with some of their visions. That's how beautiful I am. I'm not walking around just spewing words of love left and right. I love who I am as a soul. I know that vision. I'm a mother. I'm a wife on another realm as well. That's the nature of what I get handed to me. It can be the most destructive vision in someone else's eyes. Others are thinking that this is just purely about passion for love or as in sexual relations. There are more things at play than what people realize. And sometimes we will go into those ideas of what it feels like to rise up into the beauty of various states of consciousness. That's another field of vision for you. So when you come to discover more of who you are you feeling it as a pain point? Because what we want people to understand is it's all loving. The guilt and blame and shame that so many often go through in this process of discovery can be set aside for the most part. We're here to highlight the vision of love for who you are in this moment, for every day is anew. It's a new day, a new chance to plant those seeds of love for who you are, where you are, and adore each other who ride there with you. This is not about saying that it can be a wild ride. We were talking about the natures of those souls who are saying, I love who I am and I know that. But what I want is more passion and glory in my field of vision. You see, a lot of us are trying to create those careers or those, it's more about the idea of what brings me the passion. Do I do this for free? Others are very much of I offer my services for free. Others are saying my career matters most to me right now. That's where a lot of people are because there's instability in the mindsets. If you align with Brenda, you will often have chance encounters with your highest vision saying, we don't plant the seeds for worry or regret. We always move our souls forward. You see, so many souls are saying they have to go back and recreate trauma and whatnot. There's a lot of misnomers as well about the spiritual mindset. It's not just about hanging free. We're free to create from whatever vibration we want to create in, but by golly, we're not going to sit there and recreate the traumas from the past that are no longer valid for who we are. If you have an issue that needs to be brought through, it is often one that has been dealt with on another realm. That's what needs to get reinforced. It has been dealt with on another realm. Therefore, what we are working with is the ideas that are still resonating with you from others in other, like, worldly realms. This is often of this world. This idea that my trauma is being recreated or that it needs to be looked at in depth. It is very much a pleasant experience when you let go of the idea of, I'm no longer holding on to that energy field that kept me in that. There are very few souls who will recreate the trauma as much as Brenda did at one point. And it was horrific, and it was stagnating for her soul. She was stagnant in it. She didn't do anything because she was afraid, and she had no systems to help her. Correct? She was in the systems that reinforced those visions of victimhood many times. And this is why her soul is saying, my next book is about doing what is right for us moving forward. We're learning new tools that can help us release the energy without having to recreate the trauma by focusing on it so much. So many of us are like having a passion for going in and digging up their quote past, when in fact those moments are beautiful for what they were. You see, this is the nature of acceptance of who we are right here, right now, and what got us here. It's the self-love movement. So what if I don't look the way that I want to look, right? So what? Am I beautiful for who I am as a soul? You bet your bottom dollar you're beautiful for who you are. We just get told that from other societies or other people or whatnot. Brenda hears it from certain souls who antagonize her every so often because of how much focus she was placing on that kind of vision. Can you imagine? And yet when she sits down and writes the book of love, because it's another book of love and everyone's like, oh, we got that. It's more about inspiration for all of us here on how we can do what we can do, how we can tap into the nature of love of who we are without reinforcing the idea that there's something wrong with us in the first place. It's not about saying all is well, but that's part of it. It's not about denying our past. It's about learning to reject the trauma. Is that what someone's saying? I reject the trauma. It's saying that it is a moment that is now replaying itself in many a mind. Okay, this is why we are saying there are processes that many people are focused on that do help lift them up. That's a soul by soul vision. Brenda gets her soul vision handed to her only when necessary. Does she have to envision the vision of what she went through at this point? Because certain ideas have already been laid to rest. How many people understand that? That's that beautiful vision of planting your seeds from this moment, not from the past. I love you. I love me. That's where we go. So with that idea of, oh, I love giving people their wisdom, that's what people are often doing. And people are saying, but I want to hear my own. And that's what we're offering you. We're offering you that chance to lift yourself up into that vibration of I love who I am. And that's when your soul is most likely going to be able to come in from a place of discovery of love, not of hatred. You don't want to go there. And so that's why so many souls will kind of withdraw a bit from society's visions in order to say, I love who I am, even when others out there say that I shouldn't or that they don't. Okay? That's the nature of it. But we can come into wisdom from various forms and various realms of enlightenment as well. That's kind of that enlightenment vision. The awakening that many people are going through is very much of who am I and where am I going? I'm going to the future, baby. How about you? That's her soul. That's how she gets talked to sometimes. Okay? It's the beauty of knowing it. Your own soul is beautiful, wise. Discovering all souls is even wiser, right? That's the rough one for most. Oh my gosh, can I get there? It's where many go. You start to realize that you're not accessing every single soul on an individual basis necessarily, but you will hear those visions. As you notice, is she, in the vision of those who she creates with here? Absolutely. So her soul is reuniting with other souls that she's created with that then get the validation that our highest visions are creating together and bringing through the wisdom for both of us or all of us, depending on who we have sitting at our table. Okay? So with that vision of pass me the spark to light my fire, that's what we do. We pass the spark on and we tell people, right? Come light my fire, right? No, we're passing the spark on to others saying, here, we want to help you light yours. Is your fire lit? Are you feeling the passion for your life? Are you feeling the desire for discovery? You see, that's where I go. I love learning more about who I am. I love exploring myself with others. And that doesn't mean it has to be in a sexual nature, even though that idea of passion is beauty. It's like that desire to go in and discover, I'm more than who I am here. I'm more than what I could ever imagine. That's what your soul brings you. And then you hit those states of awareness that can definitely make you feel pretty freaking good. So we want you all to feel into your world. Feel the vision. Most people are saying my emotions run amok. But it's a full body experience of soul that Brenda is offering for many to start to tap into. You discover the planes of awareness where my body is no longer inhabited by the danger zone. You see, so many had those visions of old that were saying this is bad and whatnot. Oh no, it was a discovery process meant to shield those who were not ready for doing the work that Brenda did. And a lot of it was in the vision of I'm discovering from a place of joy or happiness. We go play. We go explore. That's the nature of it. When we get too serious or too problematic, right? If I'm in the mindset of I've got so many problems going through my mind that I can't focus on who I am, that's when we let go. It's that surrender process that we often discover. I love who I am, where I'm at. If someone has a problem with me, that's okay. I can understand. If I were them, I would probably be feeling the same way. But since I am all that and more, I know how to do that work. It's a good one to create with, let me tell you. And so that's the nature of love. So when you feel the spark of passion coming into your world, grab hold of it and fly forward with it. It's like just aim forward. It's a beautiful work of fiction. But that's the nature of where others are like, oh, this is all fiction. See, there's so many people undermining the beauty of the process by saying that it's just, nothing special. Oh, really? They have not tapped into the nature of their self from various fields of vibration then, apparently. It's okay. We don't chase those states. But man, it helps you to gain perspective about the way that we vibrate in this world. Okay, we don't have to just chase the happy, but it's literally that vibration of why would we not, right? I don't plant the seeds of having to chase anything. I vibrate in it. And that's where people are going. So I want to thank you for joining me. I want to also remind everyone this is a beautiful place to be. Stay curious, stay wise, and stay soulful. Have a great day.